I like to say that each boulder is kind of like a puzzle in a way, because you want to make it fun, you know? Like you want to make it something that hasn't been put up before, that like will make people think. Yeah, I think making people think is a big part of it.
Setting is putting the holds on the wall for people to climb. But what we do is a lot more than that. I mean, that's like 10% of what we do.
If it was scripted, it'd be super easy. But the fact that you try to make different climbs every time, you don't want to repeat, use the same holds in the same area, the same movement. And so you have these set of restraints, you have to set a V4, you have to set it on this angle, you have to make sure it fits anyone from 5 feet to 6 feet tall. And within those constraints, then you have to set the movement. That's where you need to be creative.
In the morning, we do all our route setting, and we all have our headphones on, we're all in our own space, we're all doing our job. And when we come back from lunch, we forerun. Forerunning is essentially quality assurance for routes. It means we know the problem works. We know it works for me, we know it works for our head setter, we know it works for all sorts of different body types.
We need to always make sure that there's equity in the climbs, whether that be adding extra feet or like knowing that the shorter climber is gonna have to jump for this move, like knowing that next hold is gonna be good enough for them to hold on to.
The forerunning is probably that 90% after you put up the skeleton that really brings everything together.
There's at least 4 of us working on pretty much every problem. So there's a lot of eyes, a lot of opinions. It just makes all the routes a better quality.
If one person said, they would only set things that felt comfortable to them and that fit them really well for their size and strengths and weaknesses. But having variety, people come in and set different things, means that you get a more varied product.
Even Izzy and I, who are like similar strength, she's a little bit taller than me, but we climb completely differently. Like the way that we climb is not the same. Our style is very different. So even having two people who are like of similar strengths, but like different styles really adds a lot to every climb, because you can encourage different movements, or like we see different things on the wall. Like when I see a climb, I see something completely different than like what Jake sees or what Jimbo sees. And so it's really good to have all of those different ideas come in. I think that's how we get the really fun climbs that we do.
1 set of eyes is always worse than 4 sets of eyes. It allows you to be more creative. When you set more creative problems, you oftentimes introduce more breaks into a problem. The guys behind me are the ones that help me figure out if the breaks are viable, and if they are, how do we bring it back so my original beta was viable.
We all get really good feedback from each other, like saying that move was really fun, or like if you just do this, it'll encourage that movement even more. And everyone's really encouraging of each other's climbs.
Having a team that is diverse in styles and strengths really helps bring everything into perspective. So not everything that we put on the wall is like the same, type of climb.
My process a lot of the time is I think of a certain move I want to do, I'll put that on the wall, and then I'll put out the rest of the hands for the route, and then I fill in feet as needed at the end.
My process is I figure out where I'm going to set, and normally try to think of one sequence or one set of moves that I want to try to make the climber do. And then I go and grab holds that'll hopefully allow me to set that movement.
I usually start with the start and go up from there. I really like good feet, bad hands.
If it's slabby, I like really bad feet. And if it's in like an overhanging section, it's just like big, powerful moves.
I think most of what I've set so far has been kind of like bigger, jumpy moves, because that's what I'm good at, is like with bigger holds and bigger movements.
I try to make what I set to be unique and somewhat uncommon. But I definitely use a lot of flip beta and slopers, yeah.
I look at my assignment for wall, and then I go back and I look at holds, and I pick the best holds for the grade I'm going for, and then I see where it takes me from there. I love setting like the fun, flowy routes and boulders. They're really fun for me to climb. I really enjoy setting them, but I also love my bat hang starts, my bat hang finishes, my technical heel hooks. Sometimes you go into it and you want to set a sit finish. And so you set a sit finish.
Like I can be creative every time I come to work. Coming in and watching people climb my stuff, it's really rewarding, honestly, to like put something up and have people enjoy it.